Hello and welcome to Yota's Kitchen. Today I'm going to be making stuffed tomatoes. Now I have 4 of them already gutted, but I have 2 more left, and I'm going to show you how to gut them just in case you haven't done this before. So the reason I usually don't cut them upside down like I did this time, but what happened is I bought these in Astoria when I was there. Tomatoes don't do well refrigerated, so since I bought them in the afternoon just before I left, they've been sitting basically around, and they got a little, you see that? They're a little bruised and so forth, and I don't want to serve them like that. Even though nobody really eats this top part, I didn't want that when I took them out to be shown with all the bruises, because they'll show up even when you cook them. So I figured, you know what? I've seen them before upside down. I don't know why the other people have done it, but maybe it's for the same reasons I'm just describing. So I am going to show you how to gut them, which is very simple. I'm going to cut the top off, or the bottom off. I'm going to take this spoon that I use to gut the other ones out, and I'm just going to slowly just pull everything out, just making sure that you don't do it too forcefully where you cut the outside of the tomato, which I have done on one of them. It was a little stubborn to get all that meat out of there, so I pushed a little too far, and then my spoon ended up protruding on the outside of the tomato. I'm not throwing that tomato out, I'm using it. Inside of the tomato, the meat of the tomato is not really red, so the only conclusion that I can come up with is that that's a hothouse tomato. They don't ripen as well as if you were picking them off the vine. Now, in a few weeks probably, we'll have tomatoes on the vine from our local farmers, but right now I don't have any. This is what I'm using. Okay, so here goes. There's the bottom, and all you do is just put your spoon in there on the side here. You see where this line kind of ends, and this line where the opening is right here, you just push it in, and then you just go around. Just continue to push it in, making sure you're not going all the way to the bottom. And my neighbor's mowing his lawn at this time, so you hear that in the background. Not that I want you to listen to my neighbor's mowing the lawn, but sometimes it happens. So then you just slowly and carefully remove the inside of the tomato. Now you can also stuff eggplants, and you can stuff zucchini, and you can stuff peppers. You can do that, but I chose to just stuff tomatoes today, and the reason is that I love stuffed tomatoes. You can also add chopped meat to this. If you do, make sure that there's not more chopped meat, let's say, to the rice. You want the rice to be a little more than the chopped meat. So for instance, something like this, 6 tomatoes, I would use about 1/4 of a pound of chopped meat. And you're going to saute it. Once you get the onions sauteed and the scallions sauteed, you can add let's say the chopped meat if you have any, if you want to do it that way. Brown it until all the pink is gone, and then add all the spices, and all the herbs. So in this case, the spices are basically salt and pepper, and the herbs are the parsley and the dill. And then you're going to put the rice in there, and you're going to saute it. So you're going to do it basically the way I'm going to do it right now, minus, for me, I don't have any chopped meat, so I'm not putting any meat in there. This is going to be like a vegan dish. You can also, instead of the meat, if you want to put some feta cheese in there, you can do that too. What I would do would be to follow all the steps I'm going to show you, and then in the end, I would say about 1/4 of a pound or 1/3 of a pound of feta cheese crumbled and then mixed with the rice and then stuffed in the tomato would probably be about the right amount. So here it is. The tomato's almost completely gutted, and you know, just take out as much as you can. You're not going to be able to do all of it, but just in order for it to be hollow, and it's very juicy. So there's the tomato. It's gutted, as you see. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle some salt in it. Not a lot. You don't want to overpower it. Just inside. And then, I didn't do that to these other ones, I'm going to turn it upside down on the plate. So I'm going to take this off because I don't want this in any of my meals. Wow, that is really on there. So just there you go. Just carefully remove that. Nobody's going to eat that section anyway, but you don't want it in your food. Just take out whatever you can without damaging the tomato. So I'm going to turn these upside down. I'm going to salt all of them. I'm going to finish cutting that one tomato that I have left. I am going to turn them over on the plate and let as much moisture out of there as possible, because you don't want it to be runny. And that's what's going to happen, because when you put them in the oven, which I'm going to stick them in the oven, and the rice. But again, the rice is going to saute a little bit in the pan before I stuff them. So not to make this video like 30 minutes long, I'm going to turn off the recording right now, and I'll be back when I'm on the next stage. But I wanted you to see how to do this, just in case you didn't know or you've never made stuffed tomatoes. Thank you for watching Yota's Kitchen. I'll be back shortly. Welcome back to Yota's Kitchen. I wanted to show you the next process. I took my tomatoes that I had in this bowl, and I threw all the excess juice out. And then I put it in this strainer to get the remainder of the juice out. As you can see, it's still dripping. And I don't want to sit here chopping it up. It becomes a little messy. So I am just going to put it in my little chopper right here. And I am just going to pulverize it a little bit, or chop it a little bit. I don't want to pulverize it basically, but I do want to take some of this out. And you can, if you don't want to eat the seeds, you don't have to use the inners of the tomatoes. You can buy diced tomatoes, and I believe those seeds are taken out of there beforehand. But I don't want to do that. I want to use the seeds. Seeds don't bother me. So I want to make sure that I use it. Now I might have put too much in here. It might not turn. But if that's the case, then I'll take some out. So I think that's where we're going to leave it. Put the top on. Now there's room for the rest. Okay, so I'm just going to throw this juice out and then reuse that bowl. And I am just going to continue. There you go. So it's ready. I might put it back in that strainer just to take the extra juice out, because I don't want it that much juice in there. Oh, there you go. So I'm going to let this strain just a little bit more, just to get that extra juice out. And another thing that I did not show you, that I did not have out, is I have a little can of tomato sauce. This is 8 ounces, I believe. Yes, 8 ounces. So if I need to, I'm going to put it in, but most likely I will. I am going to be back when I am